Welcome to the broadcast. Today, we have a massive multi-layered story that strikes at the very heart of Philippine basketball, domestic league politics, and the enduring global dream of one of the nation's brightest young stars. The headlines are blazing, and the landscape of Asian basketball is shifting right beneath our feet. The Philippine Basketball Association, the oldest play-for-pay league in Asia, has drawn a hard line in the sand. Despite mounting pressure, fan outcry, and the evolving competitive standard of international leagues, the PBA Board of Governors has made it abundantly clear they do not want a two-import system. This decision, echoing through the halls of the Araneta Coliseum and dominating sports talk radio, sets the stage for a fiery debate about local player development versus global entertainment value. But as the PBA doubles down on its traditional format, keeping a tight grip on its import regulations even as it experiments with unlimited height in the Commissioner's Cup, the biggest story in Philippine hoops is actually happening over 1,000 miles away. Kai Sotto, the 7'3" phenom, the kaiju, the undisputed future of Gilas Pilipinas, has just concluded a truly wonderful, undeniable breakout season in the Japanese B.League. This is not hyperbole. This is not the cautious optimism of years past. This is statistical, undeniable fact. After battling injuries, changing teams, and shouldering the immense, suffocating weight of a nation's expectations, Sotto has found his footing, found his rhythm, and frankly, found his dominance with the Koshigaya Alphas. Averaging double digits in scoring, commanding the glass, and protecting the rim with a newfound physical edge, Kai has proven that he is no longer just a prospect with potential. He is a legitimate, high-impact professional big man. And this spectacular resurgence has reignited the ultimate conversation. The dream is not dead. The path has just been rerouted. Because the word on the street, the whispers from the agents, and the undeniable trajectory of his recent performance all point to one thrilling conclusion. Kai Sotto is heading back to the United States next year. Let that sink in. Just as the domestic league closes its doors to a multi-import format to protect its local big men, the Philippines' greatest local big man is preparing to conquer the American stage once again. The juxtaposition is staggering. On one side, you have the PBA, steeped in tradition, fiercely protective of its brand, and cautious about the financial and competitive implications of allowing two foreign reinforcements on the floor at the same time. On the other side, you have Kai Sotto, representing the modern borderless era of basketball, where a kid from Las Piñas can train in Atlanta, play in Adelaide, star in Yokohama and Koshigaya, and set his sights firmly on the NBA Summer League and beyond. This is a story of contrasting philosophies. It is a story of a league trying to preserve its identity in a rapidly changing world, and a player who is constantly evolving to meet the demands of that very same world. Think about the magnitude of what we are witnessing. For years, the narrative surrounding Kai Sotto was tinged with anxiety. The aborted stint with the G.League Ignite. The undrafted night in 2022. The back injury that cut his 2023 NBA Summer League debut with the Orlando Magic agonizingly short. Critics were quick to write him off, to say he lacked the speed, the lateral quickness, or the raw physical strength to bang with the elite centers of the world. But basketball is not a game of linear progression. It is a crucible. And in the crucible of the Japanese B.League, playing against seasoned veterans, aggressive imports, and highly disciplined local systems, Kai Sotto was forged into something stronger. We are looking at a player who just posted 13 points and nearly 10 rebounds a game in a highly competitive Division I environment. We are looking at a 24-year-old who has learned to use his massive frame not just to block shots, but to alter the entire offensive geometry of the opposing team. And now, as the 2025 to 2026 B.League season officially enters the history books, the spotlight turns back to the West. The rumors are not just idle chatter. They are calculated moves by a camp that knows their player is ready for the next level. The NBA Summer League in Las Vegas awaits this coming July. The stakes have never been higher. This is not just about making a roster, it is about validating a lifelong journey. It is about proving that the detour through Australia and Japan was not a demotion, but a masterclass in professional development. Meanwhile, back in Manila, the PBA finds itself at a fascinating crossroads. The decision to reject the two-import proposal is a lightning rod for controversy. Proponents of the two-import system argue that it would elevate the quality of play, force local players to adapt to a faster, more physical game, and provide the fans with the high-octane entertainment they crave. They point to the B.League, to the Korean Basketball League, leagues that have embraced multiple imports and seen their regional dominance grow. But the PBA brass, the team owners, and many traditionalists see it differently. They see a move that could stunt the growth of local talent, particularly the big men who would see their minutes instantly vanish. They see a financial arms race that only the wealthiest conglomerates could win, threatening the parity of the league. This broadcast is going to tear into every single layer of this complex dynamic. We are going to break down Kai Sotto's numbers, game by game, highlighting the specific areas where he has improved and the specific skills that NBA scouts are looking for right now. We are going to analyze the PBA's import rules, looking at the history of the Governor's Cup and the Commissioner's Cup, and why the fear of a two-import system is so deeply ingrained in the league's DNA. We will discuss the geopolitical basketball landscape of Asia, how the B.League's rise has impacted the PBA, and what it means for the future of Gilas Pilipinas. Because make no mistake, these two stories are inextricably linked. Kai Sotto's success abroad highlights the limitations and the opportunities within the Philippine basketball ecosystem. His impending return to the United States is a testament to his resilience, but it also casts a long shadow over the local league he has never played in. Does the PBA need to change its rules to produce more Kai Sottos? Or is Kai Sotto the exception to the rule, a unicorn whose path cannot be replicated? We are going to explore the financial realities of these decisions. What does it cost to bring in two high-level imports? What does it cost a team in the B.League to secure a player of Kai's caliber under the Asian player quota? We will look at the shifting demands of the modern NBA. The era of the slow-footed, post-up center is dead. The league demands rim protection, perimeter switching, and the ability to knock down the three-point shot. Has Kai developed these tools? Can he survive in a pick-and-roll heavy offense? Can he stay healthy through the grueling schedule of an NBA campaign? Get ready, because we are diving deep. We are going beyond the box scores and the press releases. We are looking at the tape, we are talking about the strategy, and we are confronting the uncomfortable truths about the state of our beloved game. From the neon lights of Tokyo to the roaring crowds of the smart Araneta Coliseum, from the grueling training camps in the U.S. to the boardroom debates of the PBA governors, we are covering it all. This is the story of Kai Sotto's triumphant season. This is the story of the PBA's controversial stance. This is the definitive analysis of Philippine basketball's past, present, and wildly unpredictable future. Stick with me, because this is a deep dive you cannot afford to miss. Let us begin with the undeniable centerpiece of our discussion, Kai Sotto's magnificent, transformative season in the Japanese B.League. To fully appreciate what he has accomplished with the Koshigaya Alphas, we have to rewind and contextualize the environment he entered. The Japanese B.League is not a developmental league. It is a cutthroat, highly tactical, physically demanding professional association that has aggressively recruited top-tier talent from around the globe. It is a league where the speed of the guards is blistering, and the physicality of the imported big men is punishing. For a young, developing center, it is a sink-or-swim environment. When Kai joined Koshigaya, there were questions. He was coming off a loan spell with the Yokohama B Corsairs, where he showed flashes of brilliance, including a career-high 28 points against Alvark Tokyo. But consistency, stamina, and durability were the lingering doubts. Add to that the mid-season ankle injury he suffered early in 2026, and the narrative could have easily turned sour. But it didn't. Instead, Kai Sotto put his head down, rehabilitated, and produced the most complete, dominant stretch of basketball in his professional career. Let us look at the raw numbers, because the numbers tell a story of tremendous growth. In 28 games played for Koshigaya, Sotto averaged 13.1 points and a staggering 9.3 rebounds per game. He was on the floor for nearly 30 minutes a night, proving that his conditioning, a major point of critique in his early NBL days, has vastly improved. He shot over 53% from the two-point area and nearly 68% from the free throw line. But the most telling statistics are the extra categories. 13 double-doubles. He was a walking double-double in a league that prides itself on gang rebounding and defensive discipline. He averaged 3 assists per game, showcasing an incredibly high basketball IQ and a willingness to pass out of double teams, a crucial skill for any modern big man. We need to break down the mechanics of his success. Offensively, Kai has developed a much more reliable touch around the rim. He is no longer just relying on his towering 7'3" frame to drop the ball in the hoop. He is utilizing up and under moves, jump hooks, and an improved baseline jumper. He understands spacing. When dynamic guards like Anthony Clemens or Shun Matsuyama initiate the pick and roll, Kai rolls with purpose. He is a massive lob threat, yes, but he is also learning to pop into the mid-range or find the soft spots in the zone defense. His passing ability from the high post is reminiscent of European big men. He can read the cutters and deliver the ball on time and on target. Defensively, the transformation is even more impressive. Averaging nearly a block a game only tells half the story. The true impact of Kai Sotto on the defensive end is the alteration of shots. Guards driving into the paint see that massive wingspan and they hesitate. They throw up high-arcing floaters that miss the mark, or they kick the ball out, resetting the offense and draining the shot clock. He is learning verticality, the art of jumping straight up to contest a shot without bringing his arms down and drawing a foul. In a league where referees are quick to whistle big men for lower body contact, Kai has managed to stay on the floor, averaging only 2 personal fouls per game despite his heavy minutes. Let us look at specific performances that highlight this breakout. Back on January 31st against Hokkaido, he dropped 14 points and grabbed 10 rebounds. The very next day, in a back-to-back situation which tests a player's endurance and recovery, he exploded for 20 points and 14 rebounds. He was relentless. On Valentine's Day against Sunrockers Shibuya, he put up 15 points and 14 boards. In mid-March against Nagoya, another massive double-double with 15 points, 14 rebounds, and a season-high 7 assists. These are not empty stats on a losing team. These are hard-fought numbers against top-tier competition. Even though Koshigaya struggled as a team, finishing near the bottom of the standings, Kai's individual brilliance was a beacon of light. He was their anchor, their reliable force in the middle. This brings us to the psychological aspect of his season. Think about the pressure on this young man. He carries the basketball hopes of over 100 million Filipinos on his back. Every missed shot is scrutinized. Every injury is a national crisis. To perform at this level, in a foreign country, navigating the language barrier and the intense media spotlight requires an elite level of mental toughness. When he thanked the Koshigaya community for giving him a chance after his ACL and ankle scares, it was a moment of genuine humility from a player who knows that nothing in this game is guaranteed. He has matured. The boy who left 8 Neo High School to chase the American dream has become a seasoned professional man. And it is this maturity, this proven production, that makes the next phase of his career so incredibly exciting. The rumors are true. The goal is set. Kai Sotto is targeting a return to the United States. The NBA Summer League in July is the immediate objective. Now, why is this year different from 2022 or 2023? First, the resume is undeniably stronger. NBA scouts are not just looking at potential anymore. They are looking at a body of work. They can pull up the tape of Kai battling former NBA players in the B.League. They can see how he handles physical, bruising centers. They can see his improved stamina. In 2023, his summer league stint with the Orlando Magic was tragically cut short by a lumbar disc herniation. It was a devastating blow, a matter of terrible timing. But the fact that he was invited shows that the interest was there. The modern NBA is evolving, and intriguingly, it is evolving in a way that might just suit Kai's developing skill set. While the era of the pure post-up center is gone, the value of the highly skilled, towering big man is actually returning. Look at the impact of players like Victor Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren, and Kristaps Porzingis. Teams are realizing that if you have a player over 7 feet tall who can move his feet, protect the rim, and shoot the ball, you have a massive tactical advantage. Kai is not Wembanyama, no one is, but he fits the archetype of the modern backup center, a rim protector who can facilitate from the top of the key and provide vertical spacing. To secure a spot on an NBA roster, or even a solid G.League contract, Kai needs to show the scouts 3 things in Las Vegas. First, lateral mobility. Can he switch onto a smaller guard on the perimeter and stay in front of them for 3 seconds? In the NBA, if a big man gets switched onto a guard and gets blown by immediately, he cannot stay on the floor. Kai has improved his footwork, but this will be the ultimate test. Second, the three-point shot. He attempted very few threes in the B.League this season. While he has a smooth stroke, he needs to prove he can hit the trailing 3 or the corner 3 with confidence. If he can draw the opposing center out of the paint, his value skyrockets. Third, functional strength. He has bulked up, weighing in around 232 pounds, but NBA strength is different. It is about holding your ground when a 250-pound forward is driving his shoulder into your chest. If he can demonstrate these qualities, a two-way contract is absolutely within the realm of possibility. Teams like the Sacramento Kings, the Utah Jazz, or the Washington Wizards, teams looking for developmental big men with high upside, are surely taking notes. The U.S. return is not just a PR stunt, it is the logical culmination of his Asian excursion. Now, we must execute a hard pivot. As we celebrate the global mobility and success of our brightest star, we must turn our critical eye to the domestic front. The Philippine Basketball Association. The institution. The lifeblood of local hoops. The recent declaration that the PBA does not want to adopt a two-import system for its conferences is a massive talking point, a decision that speaks volumes about the league's priorities, its fears, and its economic realities. To understand the controversy, we must first understand the structure. The PBA operates on a unique conference system. Currently, the season features the Philippine Cup, which is strictly all Filipino and considered the crown jewel of the league. Then you have the Commissioner's Cup and the Governor's Cup, which are import-laden. Historically, the height limits for these imports fluctuate. As we look at the current 2026 Commissioner's Cup, the league has instituted an unlimited height rule for imports, bringing in massive foreign players. But the rule remains, one import per team on the floor. The push for a two-import system has been gaining momentum among fans and some analysts for years. The argument is simple and compelling. Basketball is a global game. The standard of play in Asia is rising rapidly, largely because leagues in Japan, Korea, and Taiwan have embraced multiple imports. Having two high-level foreign players on the floor simultaneously forces the local players to elevate their game. It speeds up the pace. It demands better defensive rotations, sharper shooting, and higher basketball IQ. Proponents argue that the PBA is becoming stagnant, that the style of play is outdated, and that the only way to prepare Gilas Pilipinas players for international competition is to expose them to international-level competition every single night in their home league. They argue that a two-import system would be a massive draw for the fans. Imagine the spectacular plays, the high-scoring affairs, the sheer athleticism on display. It would revitalize the live gate attendance and boost television ratings, which have faced challenges in the post-pandemic era of streaming and endless entertainment options. So why, then, is the PBA Board of Governors vehemently opposed to it? The reasons are deeply rooted in economics and the protection of the local workforce. First and foremost is the financial disparity between the teams. The PBA is composed of corporate-owned franchises. You have the massive conglomerates, the SMC Group featuring San Miguel, Barangay Ginebra, and Magnolia, and the MVP Group featuring TNT, Meralco, and NLEX. These teams have deep pockets. They can afford to scout, sign, and maintain the salaries of two elite-level American or European imports. But what about the independent teams? What about Terra Firma, Blackwater, or Phoenix? The financial burden of paying two imports, housing them, and providing for them would be astronomical. The Board of Governors fears that a two-import system would completely destroy whatever competitive balance remains in the league. The rich teams would hoard the best foreign talent, and the independent teams would be slaughtered night in and night out. It would turn the league into a two-tiered system, financially unsustainable for the bottom half of the franchises. Secondly, and perhaps more emotionally resonant, is the impact on local players, specifically local big men. The Philippines is not a country blessed with an abundance of 7-footers. When an import comes into the PBA, they invariably take the starting center or power forward spot. If you introduce a second import, you are essentially wiping out the minutes for local bigs. Players who have spent their entire lives training to play in the PBA would find themselves relegated to the end of the bench, glorified cheerleaders watching the imports play a two-man game. The PBA views itself as the premier showcase for Filipino talent. The board argues that their mandate is to provide jobs and opportunities for Filipinos. If the league becomes dominated by foreign players, does it lose its soul? Does it lose the very thing that makes the Filipino fans connect with it? Think about a player like June Mar Fajardo, a generational talent, a multiple-time MVP. In a two-import system, even a player of his magnitude would see his touches reduced, his defensive responsibilities fundamentally altered. The PBA wants the local stars to be the heroes of the narrative. When Justin Brownlee hits a game winner for Ginebra, it is magical, but the league still wants the local guards, the Scotty Thompsons and the C.J. Perez's, to be the faces on the billboards. Furthermore, the PBA points to its own history. They have experimented with various import handicapping systems in the past, allowing shorter imports for better teams and taller imports for weaker teams. They have brought in Asian guest players. But the core DNA of the league is the Filipino player. The board believes that the current system, one import to raise the ceiling, but enough local players on the floor to maintain the identity, is the perfect balance. But this stance creates a fascinating friction when placed next to the story of Kai Sotto. The PBA is protecting its local big men by keeping imports limited. Yet, the greatest local big man the country has produced in decades chose not to play in the PBA precisely because the international leagues offered a higher level of competition and a better stepping stone to the NBA. The PBA is essentially saying, we must protect our style of play, while the rest of the world, and our best player, is saying, your style of play is no longer enough. This is the great paradox of Philippine basketball today. We love our domestic league. The rivalries, the passionate crowds, the barangay spirit, it is irreplaceable. But the global game has moved on. The B.League did not worry about protecting its local big men from imports. They opened the floodgates, and as a result, the Japanese national team has vastly improved, qualifying for the Olympics and playing a modern, fast-paced style of basketball. The PBA is choosing a different path, prioritizing league stability and local employment over radical modernization. We must also look at the PBA's recent tweaks, like the unlimited height rule in the current Commissioner's Cup. By bringing in behemoths, the PBA is trying to give the fans a spectacle without crossing the line into a two-import system. It is a half measure. It forces local teams to figure out how to defend a 7'2" import with local power forwards who are barely 6'5". It creates massive mismatches, but it still keeps the ball predominantly in the hands of the local guards. As we look at the standings of the 2026 Commissioner's Cup, we see the usual suspects dominating. NLEX, Barangay Ginebra, Rain or Shine, and Meralco are sitting at the top. The inclusion of guest teams like the Macau Black Knights adds a flavor of international flair, but the core product remains fundamentally unchanged. The debate will not end here. Every time Gilas Pilipinas struggles against a team like Lebanon or Jordan, teams utilizing naturalized players and competing in fast-paced leagues, the cry for a two-import PBA will rise again. And every time a local player hits a miraculous shot to win a Game 7 in the Smart Araneta Coliseum, the PBA board will feel vindicated in their decision to protect the local product. Let us bring this back to Kai Sotto and the immediate future. The timeline is critical. We are in May 2026. The B.League season is over for Koshigaya. Kai is officially exploring his options. The NBA Summer League takes place in July. Between now and then, the preparation is everything. Kai will likely head back to the United States, linking up with his trainers, perhaps returning to the skill factory in Atlanta or working with specialized big man coaches in California. He will be running drills until he collapses. He will be shooting thousands of corner threes. He will be in the weight room building that core strength necessary to battle in the paint. His agency, Wasserman, will be working the phones, leveraging his spectacular B.League numbers to secure the best possible summer league situation. He doesn't just need an invite. He needs an invite from a team with a roster construction that allows him to actually play minutes. Going to a team loaded with guaranteed contracts at the center position would be a waste of time. He needs a team looking for a backup big, a team willing to invest in a two-way contract. The pressure is immense. At 24, the window is not closed, but it is certainly narrowing. The NBA is ruthless. Every year, a new crop of 19-year-old freaks of nature enters the draft. Kai is no longer the shiny new teenager. He is a professional. He must prove that his experience makes him a safer, more reliable bet than an untested rookie. He must show that the Japanese B.League has refined his raw talent into a sharp, deployable weapon. And what if the NBA doesn't pan out this year? What is the contingency plan? The beauty of Kai's current situation is that he holds the cards. The B.League teams are undoubtedly preparing massive offers to keep him. He is an Asian quota player, meaning he doesn't count against their strict foreign import limits. He is incredibly valuable in that market. If the U.S. path hits a roadblock, returning to Japan to a top-tier contender, perhaps a team playing in the East Asia Super League, would still be a highly lucrative and competitive move. The European market could also be an option, though the style of play there requires a massive adjustment. But right now, The focus is entirely on the United States. The dream that started on the concrete courts of Los Pinos, that traveled through the high school gyms of 8 the training centers in the US, the NBL arenas in Australia, and the stadiums of Japan, is circling back to its ultimate destination. The narrative symmetry is poetic. As Kai Sotto prepares to break through the highest ceiling in global basketball, the PBA is reinforcing its own roof, ensuring that the house remains exactly as it has always been. One is chasing the future. The other is protecting the past. Both are driven by a deep, undeniable love for the game of basketball. As we wrap up this extensive deep dive, we are left to ponder the massive implications of the stories we have unpacked today. We are standing at a fascinating intersection in the history of Philippine basketball. On one hand, we have the resolute, unyielding stance of the Philippine Basketball Association. The decision to reject the two-import system is not merely a bureaucratic ruling, it is a profound statement of identity. The PBA has chosen to prioritize the livelihood of its local players, the financial stability of its diverse franchises, and the traditional brand of basketball that has captivated millions for half a century. They are opting for the preservation of the local hero over the spectacle of the international arms race. Whether you agree with this philosophy or believe it is a fatal error that will doom the league to regional irrelevance, you must acknowledge the conviction behind the choice. The PBA is placing a massive bet on the enduring appeal of the Filipino baller. On the other hand, soaring above the domestic debates, we have the magnificent ascent of Kai Sotto. His breakout season with the Koshigaya Alphas is a triumph of perseverance. He took the criticisms, the setbacks, and the staggering weight of a nation's expectations, and he channeled them into undeniable, statistical dominance. Averaging 13.1 points and 9.3 rebounds in one of the toughest leagues in Asia is not a fluke. It is the arrival of a star. Kai has proven that he can endure the physicality, master the tactical complexities, and deliver night after night. And now, the compass points west once again. The impending return to the United States for the NBA Summer League in July is the culmination of years of calculated gambles. Kai Sotto is stepping onto the American stage not as a raw prospect, but as a battle-tested professional. He carries with him the refined skills forged in the B.League, a stronger physique, and a hardened mentality. The challenge before him is monumental, convincing NBA executives that a 24-year-old international veteran is the missing piece to their puzzle. These two narratives, the PBA's domestic entrenchment and Kai Sotto's global ambition, reflect the duality of the Filipino basketball soul. We fiercely protect our own, yet we dream wildly of conquering the world. The coming months will be historic. We will watch the PBA Commissioner's Cup unfold, analyzing every matchup, every local star rising to the occasion against towering solitary imports. And we will refresh our feeds relentlessly in July, tracking every minute, every block, every point Kai Sotto registers in the Las Vegas Summer League. This is the beauty of the game. It is a constantly shifting landscape of rules, ambitions, economics, and sheer willpower. Kai Sotto has done his part. He has had the wonderful breakout season we all hoped for. The PBA has made its ruling. Now we wait. We watch. And we continue to believe in the boundless potential of Philippine basketball, wherever it may be played. Thank you for joining me on this incredibly deep dive. The game never stops, and neither will our coverage. Have a great day, and keep the passion for the sport alive.